Welcome back to the channel, guys. Real Patriots Fishing here, and I'm here to show you guys how to rig up the Minn Kota Terrova on the native hammer. This is probably pretty similar for a lot of the native lineups. I used a lot of kits from the native watercraft website, so it should be pretty simple. Most of it's plug and play. You have to do a little bit of drilling a little bit, but I'm going to walk you through each step. I'm going to link the kits that I use into the comment section or into the description so you guys can click on those and find them yourself. It's really easy. It didn't take long to do, but there are a couple of things that I want to point out to kind of show you guys. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead for more content. Follow us on Hooked on Yak Fishing. That's a public Facebook page that we have. What are you going to tell them, Clipso? Huh? What are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them? Huh? All right, you guys are all strapped up. We're ready to go. Let's get into how I rigged up this Minn Kota Terrova on the native hammer. So it's pretty simple, to be honest with you guys. I'm going to kind of go over the larger things real quick, just so you have an idea of what I did and what I had to do. Now, there's probably many ways that you can kind of rig this Terrova on the kayak. And if you're looking at any of the native watercraft, the Native Titan, the Slayer, any of these, I believe, that kind of have this built-in mounting stuff to it, are gonna kind of rig the same way. So, again, the kit that I used several different kits. Okay, so let me just show you first before I get into the kits. So basically, the motor mounts to a plate. Come around here. Mounts to a plate that mounts to another plate that mounts to the kayak. All right, I'm going to get in here real quick so you guys can see it. All right, so there's a plate that's made specifically for the native hammer, and then there's a plate that's made specifically for Minn Kota Terrova. These are important to take note of. I'm going to put links in both of them. The plate you buy right off the Native's website, and the Minn Kota plate you purchase from Amazon or anyone else. I think it's an MK201. So basically the MK201 is what allows you to kind of rig it this way. So I'm going to pull off, let me reposition here. I'm going to pull off the safety pin without cutting my hand, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to have to grab something. Grab something to grab something, if that makes any sense. So, because I have little weak hands, apparently. So, I just need to pull the cotter pin out so that I can release the motor so I can show you guys how easy it kind of goes on and off of it. I just want to pop this out real easy. So this is the quick release bracket plate, and so this is what holds the motor in, along with this pin that's integrated into it. So now, let me make sure my cables are all detached, and we'll go over all this afterwards. Everything is detached from here. Basically, the motor just lifts on and off just like this. I don't take the motor off, I travel with it, but going back to the plates, this is the MK201 plate, all right? And underneath the actual trolling motor itself is the other plate that gets bolted directly to the bottom of the Terrova, okay? And then you insert this pin here. So what I had a problem with was the mounting hardware that it comes with. You may have to go out and get some different mounting screws, because once you use these screws from the kit, you just may not have other screws left over for the rest of the plate installation. So you may have to get some more screws for that. I had to, because I used my screws on my Old Town from over there when I did it. So you might have to go get some more screws basically to just mount it and fixate it here, because The screws that they give you with the MK201 plate are super long, and depending on the type of kayak you have, you may not need long screws. You may just need the shorter version of that screw. So this plate here, the one I got my hand on, is the native plate. Okay, so this is specific to native kayaks. All right, if you go to the website, I'll put a link in the comment. This is the plate that you need. This screws directly down into the kayak inserts. Underneath this, there's the kayak inserts. You just screw down into it. I'm not going to take this apart because I got to unscrew everything. But basically, if you flip this over, flip this plate over right here, there's a couple inserts that you have to pop up into this plate here. And then that secures when you screw down to the plate. So, and before I get a little bit further down into this is just kind of a quick overview of what I did. Justin Floyd has a video out there for Native on Native's website. I'll post it. I'll link it here in the comment section or the description. That way you guys can reference it. And he walks through the same thing I'm going to walk through head to toe in about 45 minutes. He goes like how to do every little step, okay? So I'm not gonna do every little step. I'm just gonna tell you kind of the big steps and how it's rigged. Okay, so once you get this plate and once you get the MK201 plate mounted to that, the trolling motor again just goes right to that. All right, so now it's really that simple. You just mount two plates. Then you can stick your harness pin back in there and secure it. Okay? So that's that. All right, second or third or fourth or whatever we're counting to. So the motor comes with just this right here, you know, all this extra wire. So what I did was I stripped the wire and I put an Anderson plug on it that I bought off of Amazon. Okay, so you can buy these from Amazon. I'll put a link into the description. Then what I did is I took marine grade wire. I will put that in the description as well. Did the same thing. Took it, put an Anderson plug on the end, so then I could just plug directly to here, right? So this is my power source, okay? So then I took the Yak Attack grid locks and I ran my power from here through my hole all the way back here to my battery. And I'm gonna have to move my seat up for you guys to see this. Bear with me. All right, so now I'm gonna move my seat up so you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? So, all right, so this is where I run my battery. It's a 135 amp hour Dakota lithium 12 volt battery. You don't have to have a battery this big, but I wanted a battery where I could go long distance and never have to worry about getting another one. Yes, it's expensive. I trust Dakota Lithium, so no problem there. So from the front, the power connector that I just showed you runs down the hole, out this plate here, through another grid lock plate, into an Anderson plug that I made, into another Anderson plug that gets wired to the positive and negative. Okay? So now the kayak is powered. Right? That's as simple as it is as powering your kayak and getting it wired up. You run one power cable from the front to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 Anderson plugs for that is what you'll need, okay? To make it easier for me so that I don't have to move my seat like you just saw each time, I wired another Anderson plug connection to my positive and my negative which is right here. This Anderson plug, completely separate from the other one. Ran it with a small yak attack through port back to the end of the kayak, through the hole, back up out of here with another Anderson plug. That's strictly for charging the kayak only, okay? So you don't have to do that if you don't mind moving your seat back and forth each time. I did not want to have to move my seat back and forth every single time I came off the water. So that was my solution, okay? You don't have to do that. That's just an additional add-on for what I wanted to do, okay? So now we got the yak powered. We got the now we got the Terrova powered. We also got the Terrova charging cable set up. The Terrova's mounted. And from here, you have a couple different options of stow and deploy kits. Right? Y'all, hold on a second. I have to show you this. Okay? I live in Virginia. I live in Virginia. This morning it was 72 degrees. It's freaking snowing like crazy. What the crap? I'm supposed to fish tomorrow. Man, anyway, sorry about that. So, all right. So far for purchasing, sorry, my dog is clingy. She has to be everywhere I am, so she's in here helping me film today. Say hi, Calypso. Hey. All right, so now we come to the stow and deploy decision making, okay? I already told you that you got to buy the plate from Native for the mounting option. Then you got to buy the MK201 from Minn Kota for the second part of the mounting option to the kayak plate that you buy, okay? Then you need to figure out how you're going to run your power, like I just showed you. If you wanted to run power from here into this front hatch, you could as well, if you wanted to run a small battery. I'm about to show you that. For me, again, I ran the power from here to here, and that's it. Again, put a charging port in, that's completely separate. So, the way that this motor works, if you don't know, is in order to deploy the motor, you have to depress this handle, okay? Once you depress the handle, this slides forward, okay? And the way you pull the motor up is lock it in place, is this, this needs to be all the way up, and you pull it and it locks in place. Again, to deploy it, you push it down and it releases, okay? And then when you want to lock it back in place, you pull it back up, make sure that you have the motor head turned, and you pull it in place, okay? So that's how the motor itself works. So Native makes a stow and deploy kit, all right? And what it has in it is it has a quick release handle, okay, with a cable on it. It's got a handle, right, and a cable on it, and this fitting here, and you run this fitting through the whole of the kayak, through here, and I'm going to show you all this in a second. You run it from here, through the whole of the kayak, up out of here, you attach this carabiner, and then you drill a hole through the top here, latch it forward, and now from the seated position, you can grab this handle, lift it up, depress the front. I'm going to try and show you this because it's hard. It's hard to show. It's hard to show from not being in the kayak. I'm going to try and do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this handle, and then that's going to unlatch, but I don't want my kayak, I don't want the trolling motor slammed forward. Okay, so just bear with me. All right, so you might see it, you might not. I'm gonna try and move this cable. See how it depressed? Now this is loose. Let go of the handle, and I can pull it back up and I can lock it, okay? So, now the motor's locked back up again. Okay, so that's the option for deploying the motor, okay? Deployment is basically this side right here with this cable, all right? You don't have to do this. You don't have to do a locking system. You don't have to do that. You could simply run a carabiner through the front just like this, and then, you know, put a pull cord on it, and you can leave it all on your deck. But this kayak was basically made to rig this way to make it clean and have all your cables out of your way, so that's what I did. And that's why I went with the native Stow and Deploy kit, because it has everything that you need in it. It comes with the carabiner. It comes with this cable. It comes with this part that goes through through the sacrificial plate. It comes with these two screws, this holder, this pulling handle, everything you need, okay? And then it also comes with another nylon rope that you just tie around the head of this, and basically it comes with this Yak Attack, you know, cleat system, and then you just tie it off, and then this is how you hold the motor. This is how you pull the motor back up right here from the seated position. You pull it back up with this rope right here, and so you don't have to lean all the way forward and get out, right? The rope that the native one comes in the kit, I don't care for it. And it's not that I don't care for the cable. I don't care for the fact that it doesn't have a collar system that goes around the motor, okay? So there's two trains of thought here. If you're running spot lock and this shaft is constantly turning, this rope could end up twisting around the head of this thing over and over and over, all right? Now, if you don't have enough slack in your line, that's gonna gum up your line and your motor's gonna bind up and it's gonna recognize it, okay? I don't really use spot lock a lot, not yet. And what I do, I let a lot of extra cable out, all right? So there's a place up in, I believe it's Maine, that makes another kit, which is this collared kit. And this collared kit kind of fixes on the shaft and it doesn't move as much, all right? Now, why is that important? For me, it's important because I have a leg injury. It's hard for me to get up and down, back and forth, to grab this trolling motor and turn the head like I showed you in the very beginning. If you don't turn this head to face this way, it's not gonna lock into place, right? So if you're just trying to turn it with this cable, you know, without grabbing the head, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. So what this does, the way I pull it and the way that I have this positioned, is when I pull it, the head automatically turns the way that I want it to turn. I don't have to do this. I don't have to mess with the remote control. It's kind of a personal preference at that point of how you want this to set up. What I would do, use the native kit first, see if you like it. You know, if you don't have any problems moving the motor head to turn it once you get it up to about this point to make sure it locks in place, then just run with that setup. Don't go out and buy another Stow and Deploy kit from that other company, because it's not really going to be worth your while. Or you could fix a collar on here, do whatever you want to do. But this one I saw on Bearded Dad Fishing. He's the one that turned me on to this one, actually, when I reached out to him when I was doing the Old Town. And that's the one I originally had on Old Town. So I just went with it. But it lacks this kit that it comes in lacks any type of through hole system or anything like that. So it's basically laid on the deck. So that's why I ended up going with the native Stow and deploy kit, because it has everything integrated for these plates. All right, so now I kind of want to show you the inside of the hole here, your different options for battery placement, kind of how these cables run through and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna deploy my motor a little bit enough so I can get the hatch open here. All right. So the nice thing is when you're going down the road, all you got to do is detach this to keep this locked in place so it doesn't bump out, which is a lesson learned. I had this attached and was going down the road in my old utility trailer, and my utility trailer would bump quite a bit. And so with this handle was a little tight. You can see there's not a ton of play in the handle. It actually pulled this down and the trolling motor flipped up just like you see it almost on my utility trailer as I was going down the road. It scared the crap out of me, obviously. But anyway, let me kind of show you guys the inside here. So there's really not a whole lot to see, but I did want to point out something to you that takes a little bit of finagling. Again, Justin Floyd shows you exactly how to do this. So to make the cable retractable, they include this short piece of bungee in this cord. So this cord right here, okay, this cord is this cord, okay? And attached to one end is the bungee, and attached to that bottom side is the bungee. And what that does, and this runs up through here, right? This is this cable all again. This is all about releasing this plate. And what it does is that when you put that bungee on there, it makes it so it retracts back down. Because without that bungee, it would just be slack in the line and it really wouldn't pull it back down. And so you would constantly be kind of flipping the line up and down to get it to sit back down right. Okay, so again, what that bungee cord does, it just allows you to have it retract with a little bit of tension on it. So you can see, like right here, there's tension on my line, and there's tension here. There's tension here on my line, my release, and then there's tension right here as well. So again, you can kind of set that up however you want, but you don't really have to go that route. Okay, so again, if we get back into here, if you wanted to run your power from right here to right here, you could simply do that as well. You could come out of this plate right here, and you could put your main battery right here, and you could power your fish finder and your trolling motor all with one battery. I'm guessing a 50 amp would probably fit in here. I'm not 100% sure what the specs are for what size battery fits in here, but again, I went with 100 amp in the back. So that's really it, you guys. It's super easy to do. I've only rigged 2 trolling motors up my entire life. One of them was on the Old Town, and one of them was on the Hammer. It took me 2-3 days to do it on the Old Town because I had to make my own through-hole port stuff. Whereas the Hammer, it's already built into it, and if you buy that kit, it just makes it so simple. So again, I don't have a lot of lines running on my deck of my kayak now. All I have is basically this one string right here, right, that I can either put right there and get it out of the way, or I can wrap it around this cleat, when I'm fishing. When I'm fishing, I usually will just leave it up here out of the way because it's not a big deal, and it allows the slack to twist around the shaft if I need it to. All right. You're just gonna have to make that preference and decision on your own what you prefer. If you want something that slides around, or if you want something that grips it to help it keep the motor straight. Again, if you have one that goes and goes around, you don't have to worry about the trolling motor wrapping up your lines, right? You can just basically hit your spot lock and it'll go back and forth. Again, I don't use spot lock a lot. I don't really have a need for it right now. So that may change in the future, but you know, again, it's personal preference. You know, I will say when I first ran the native one with just the line and without this collar, the extra collar that I bought, that when I would pull the motor up, I would basically just hit the remote left and right to turn the motor which way I wanted, and then I would kind of grab it. So if you're able-bodied and you don't have a really bad leg injury or a back injury, then, you know, you probably don't need this extra collar. And I wouldn't spend the extra money to get it if I had not already had it. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. Ask your questions. Again, it's a pretty simple setup. If you're running the native hammer, it's a super clean, easy way to install the motor. I hope that I explained stuff enough to you guys that you could see it. Again, I'm going to put all the links to all the stuff that I bought in the description, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you guys for all the support and appreciate all the comments and questions. Let me know if there's anything I didn't talk about that you need to know or something you see that you had a question on, and I'll hit you up or I'll find a way to get a message straight to you. All right, guys, thank you.